asked him if he was kidding at first, because I was like, really? We're going to go get a Staggerwing? I didn't think that we were going to be able to get an airplane of this stature.
Staggerwing Beach is iconic. It was developed back in 1932 by Walter Beach and was built right up through World War II and after. It fits into an era that we're really trying to create here, and we're doing a pretty good job with it. This is what they call the golden age of aviation. Out of the over 700 that they originally built, 785 I think, or something like that, there's about 200 left and about 100 flying. Our original founder, Mr. Harold Hansen, who I lost in 2010, we would sit in front of one of these hangars and watch airplanes take off and land. And as we grew and procured some of these golden age airplanes, I said, Harold, we really could use a Beach Staggerwing. It would put us at a new level. And he says, well, that might happen someday. The unique history about the airplane is it was one of basically around 60 Staggerwings that were sent to England to be used for VIP transport. After the war, the airplane came back in 1946, and it was built and painted in beige with military colors, camouflage. And it was repainted in 1946 and sold to a company in New York. And they flew it until 1955. John K. Desmond, looking for some unique airplanes for the collection he was starting in Pennsylvania, purchased the Staggerwing, and in '76 commenced a 11-and-a-half-year restoration on the airplane. And it was finished in the late 80s. It was never flown, though, until 2008. John didn't believe flying some of these airplanes. Our president, Barry Smith, who, knowing Mr. Desmond, had made several visits out to see the collection over the years and always remembered the red Staggerwing sitting in the corner. Looking at the Staggerwing and kind of walking by it, and it had an inch of dust on it because it hadn't flown, I didn't think that we really had the ability to procure the airplane. I came home from that trip kind of not depressed, but saying, you know, there's some beautiful airplanes there, but we don't have the funding for this. Well, Barry Smith, knowing Mr. Desmond fairly well, being acquainted with his son, and Janet Hochschild, who was Mr. Desmond's right-hand lady, who's a fantastic person, worked out a deal with our organization to procure the airplane. And that was a big surprise to me. It shows you that wishes can come true. And about 3 weeks ago, we got the okay from the Desmonds, and my son, Drew, and Brian, our other technician, flew out to Philadelphia. I asked them what they thought first. Is it worth it?
It was really dirty.
Did we make a mistake?
We didn't really know until we washed it. And then once we washed it and we found that there weren't any serious mechanical problems with it, fabric was still good, wood was still good. One of the first things we did was we checked the electrical system to make sure all the radios and avionics and everything worked. Then we went in through the landing gear, the tail.
It was really something special because, you know, I can go on the internet and look up a picture of a Staggerwing, but when you see them in person, it's a very impressive airplane.
The opportunity to kind of feel what it was like to be back in the 1940s again.
This is what people did back in the mid-40s, and this was their Learjet.
Not much has changed inside the airplane since 1944.
Almost a 75-year-old wooden fabric biplane with 450 horsepower hanging off the nose, and two great kids. It was quite a trip.
VintageAircraftMuseum.org